Hello, Potfeet. Ooh, that I got to reposition that Discord window a little. Let's see here. Yeah. All right, that's better. Hold on. Hold on. You're not seeing us on YouTube? Okay. Jill or Sandy? Someone's saying they're not here. Rose is saying she's not hearing you. Anyone else having that problem? I hear. Let me get you on. Let me make sure I'm hearing you on YouTube. Okay. Oh, I don't hear you on YouTube. So this is correct. I only hear you on Discord. Yeah, so my voice is coming through, but yours is not on YouTube for YouTube listeners. Let me check. Well, I'm seeing your voice. Can you talk again? Yeah, your voice is not coming through. Hold on. No, I'm not. Oh, wait. Sorry. I am hearing you, but you're not coming out on the transmission. Why would that be? There. There it is.
And it just bugged me.
Found it.
What's that, Steve?
Found it. Your audio was
got
disabled.
It fixed?
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't do that. All right, Rose, do you hear me now? We don't want Rose not to be able to hear me.
Well, thanks for catching that, Rose. We appreciate it.
Good. What was that from? We control the horizontal, we control the vertical. Was that from Twilight Zone?
Outer Limits.
Outer Limits?
Yeah, one of my favorite sci-fi shows from when I was a kid. Still is.
I never got into Outer Limits.
I like the original best.
I have you turned down a little bit low there.
Okay, Rose, we're good to go.
All right, good. All right, I think I will, let's start recording a show. Like I said,
right.
I don't have much to say this week. A lot of chapter marks, though.
All right, we'll be checking those. Do you want to do a pre-check? Do you fill them in early?
I could. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. You should have the same number because I sent them to you from the same document.
Yeah.
The question is, do I put 5 in?
4 or 5, yeah.
Right. It's copy and pasted to you, so it's the same document. All right. Oh, I could save, though.
All right. I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to mute.
Okay. Hi, this is Allison. Okay, that's too loud. Come down. There you go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, November 14th, 2021, and this is show number 862. Well, this week, our grandkids both got colds, and in these times, the sniffles and coughs get you sent right home from school and daycare. Lindsay and Nolan had really tough schedules, so they set up a flare asking for emergency assistance. Steve and I happily jumped into the car on Tuesday morning and came to their rescue. Now, I'm not telling you this to suggest that either of us qualifies for Grandparent of the Year, because that reward actually goes to their other grandmother, who recently took care of them both for 3 days straight all by herself. Anyway, I am telling you this because I knew it was going to be virtually impossible for me to write up any content for this week's show, and so I sent up my own emergency flare, and the community, as always, came to my rescue. In fact, so many people created content that I get to save one for next week. This week, we have Troy Shimkus, Mike Price, Jill from the Northwoods, all with their own reviews and tips, and then we've got Bart Bouchatz with security bits to round out an extra long show. You know, I always hear other podcasters say that they have the best community, but I beg to differ. The Nosilla Castaways rock.
That they do.
Want to watch me make a chapter mark?
Yes.
You seem to enjoy that.
Well, I do it mainly for checking purposes, but sure, I enjoy it too.
Okay, mashing down all the keys, and I'll copy link. No, but you like to see the automation run, right?
Yes.
Oh, keyboard. What is going on? All of a sudden, keyboard, everything's asking for permissions. This is not going to work.
Did you do an OS update?
No, I did not. And Hazel's not going to work right now because Hazel thinks that it doesn't have permission to talk to a network volume. Keyboard Maestro engine, quit and reopen. Oh, good grief. Okay. And why does quit and reopen never reopen? Have you noticed that? Quit and reopen only ever quits.
You mean reopen Windows?
No, when it says you need to quit, I need to quit and reopen because you just gave me permission to do something. Never does it actually reopen. It just quits, always. Ooh, Jill just picked up Hazel. Oh, goody. You're going to love it. Hazel's cool. We should have a play date, and I'll help you. All right, let's try this chapter mark again.
Boom, boom,
there
boom.
We go.
Look good.
Boom. All right, so exciting. Where is Mike? There's Hazel. Aw. When I was a little girl, people said I had hazel-colored eyes, and I always hated that because I didn't want to look like her. All right. You have hazel eyes too. Good. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Steve muted himself. Bart had a vision that certain things we would learn in Phase 2 of Programming by Stealth would be taught by guest lecturers. I thought he was bananas that this would ever work. Like, how would you get anybody to do it? Who could step into his shoes? That would be way too hard. But Helma van der Linden, also known as Helma from the Netherlands, stepped up to teach us about coding linters and specifically ESLint in this week's edition of Programming by Stealth. In this installment, she explains what linters are and why they're useful. Even though she's not technically fond of them, she believes in linters because of what they can do for a coding team. Once she sells us on the idea of having a linter, she walks us through how to install ESLint inside the development environment of VS Code. From there, she explains style guides and shows us how to install and use the very popular Airbnb style guide. She gives us tips on usage and even how to override the linter's demands. I think it was incredibly courageous of her to try to fill Bart's shoes, and I think she did a fantastic job both in the podcast recording and in her detailed written show notes, which are, of course, available over at bartificer.net. I didn't say you can find it in your podcatcher of choice. You think people have figured that out by now?
Yeah, I think they have.
All righty, so let me close that one. Can you believe she did that?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
It's
I haven't
terrifying.
heard it yet, but just the idea of taking that on.
Yeah.
I mean, you really know it if you can teach it.
Yeah. Well, and that was the interesting thing was she said that she actually didn't know it that well, And when I called her out and said she was an expert on it, she was like, well, I guess I better go learn it.
There's a delinter. Thank you, John.
Uh-oh. Oh, it's too small. Oh,
Too
but
small?
it gets the point across. It's just all red. So a linter shows you, for you guys, a linter shows you either where you've made mistakes or where kind of formatting kind of stuff is different. So like, do you want to use single quotes or double quotes? Do you want to use tabs versus spaces? Is it 2 spaces? Is it 4 spaces?
This is while coding.
Right. So this is a delinter. I just saw John's thing. Oh, used to write out your code and spend hours with the highlighter matching my elements. Begin quote, end quote. Yeah, I write in all kinds of comments going, okay, I opened a div here, I closed it down here. So I write, this is when I opened it, and this is when I closed it. I do want to find, I have not found a linter for Visual Studio Code that will do HTML, because the one she shows us is for JavaScript. So I need the next one. Now, did Troy introduce himself?
I don't think he did, at least in his written input, unless he deviated from that.
Yep, he did.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All right, let's drop him in here. Which are, of course, available over at bartificer.net.
Hello, castaways. This is Troy coming to you from Deltona, Florida, with a review on some wireless lapel mics. So the problem to be solved here was that I wanted to make some videos about a community garden project I manage in my city of Deltona, Florida. So I decided I was going to start a garden bed, having never gardened before, and do a video diary of the process. Of course, this means I need to get some shiny new tech to accomplish this project. I have several tripods of various heights and features, and I have some wired handheld mics that I've used for some other projects, but this is going to be all outdoor video around a community garden setup. So the immediate 2 challenges were how to get good stable video and clear audio while recording outdoor activities. I've played with some drones in the past, and one came with a handheld gimbal setup for the drone camera, so I thought that could be an option, but it didn't have any audio options and didn't mount to a tripod, so time to buy some stuff. Of course, the first place I check is podfeet.com to see what other castaways have found and get some ideas. Definitely a lot of good mic recommendations there. I've bought a headset and a desk mic, the ATR 2100 I'm using to record this overall review based on articles there, but nothing quite right for what I was looking for. True to my form, I either do things on a whim of impatience or I wait too long, overanalyze, and never do it. This adventure was definitely going to be in the former category. It was late on a Thursday and I happened to have Friday off, so I want to start this project on a Friday. I first thought, what does the local Best Buy have? I can run down there first thing Friday and pick up some things. Well, they didn't have much to work with for either handheld gimbals or wireless mics for iPhone that I could see. So let's check Amazon. It's now like 11:30 at night, and I want to see what I can get from Amazon by 7 a.m. the next morning. For a gimbal setup, they had the DJI OM4 available for overnight, and that for me was kind of a no-brainer. The price was right at $149, so in the cart it goes. There were some interesting lower-priced options, but for this, I was going with a brand I'd experience with, and it was only $50 more than the completely unknown brand options that I saw. Now on to the mic and the true subject of this review. I needed a wireless mic option for the iPhone 11 Pro. I do have a pair of AirPods, and I did some testing with those. While certainly passable, the quality just wasn't where I wanted it to be for this project that will probably span over 8 weeks in at least one video a week. So I looked up some lavalier mic options. Again, they must arrive by 7 a.m. This is of course the most critical requirement that some little annoying voice in the back of my head is trying to tell me is just going to cost me more when I don't get what I like and I have to buy something new in another week. But we don't listen to that voice. So 2 options bubble to the top. The HuSmot, that's HUUSMOT, that system comes in about $89.99. This one comes with 2 mics and 1 receiver, so it could be a good for interviewing people down in the gardens. This unit has rechargeable batteries, comes with all the bits and bobs needed to connect to the lightning port of a standard headphone jack, all in a nice carrying case. So not too bad overall. The Alvoxcon is next up. It's a wireless mic for iPhone and computer and comes in at $63.74. This one has a little bit of a different design. The receiver connects via USB-A and it looks like it's one of those early USB Wi-Fi adapters or one of those early big jump drive things. Just a little chunky, but comes with a USB-A to Lightning adapter and a USB-A to USB-C adapter for use on Android. Although I can see some other uses for that little gem, perhaps. I'm looking at you, iPad Pro. This unit comes with two mic options. One's a little stub mic that comes directly off the transmitter, and the other is more traditional lapel mic on a long cable. The receiver and transmitter are both about the size of like a car key fob, with the transmitter being more rounded and oval shaped, with a clip and a little antenna sticking out. Both units were very easy to set up and use. You just turn them on and they connect automatically. There were no issues getting them to be seen by the iPhone for recording, and both are rechargeable via mini USB. I haven't used either in enough length to test for battery life, but reports...
Okay. I gotta get down to the end here. Oh, actually, I was just getting to the good part where he tests the mic. Listen to this.
The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. 2 blue fish swam in the tank. Her purse was full of useless trash. The colt reared and threw the tail rider. It snowed, rained, and hailed the same morning. Read verse out loud for pleasure.
So that's
Where
actually
did you get
from
those phrases?
From an IEEE thing. Believe it or not. Yeah, he gives. It's really funny. He gives the exact spec. I stopped right before you could hear it, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's interesting that he said he went back to your blog posts, and we've I know we did reviews on at least 2 systems, neither of which are these 2.
Lavalier mics?
Yeah. Well, they support lavalier, but we don't use them in that manner.
Yeah, so we didn't review the lavalier mics. We used the remote handheld mic.
Yeah, maybe we didn't review that part of it, that aspect.
In fact, I don't even think we own the lavaliers, do we?
We did on the first system. The second one, possibly not.
Yeah, I don't think we do. And he's not hooking up to a camcorder with a shoe.
Okay, so
he's using it from a phone. Right? So our phone one, the one we did wouldn't work.
Got it.
Okay. What am I going to say about this? I'm going to listen to the ending here.
The community gardens, which I'm really looking forward to. So there you have my review of a few options for wireless mics to use with an iPhone. I've already posted the first video in my diary series about starting a garden bed, so I'm off to a great start. Thanks for listening.
Oh, I think I wrote something at the very end of this, didn't I? Okay. Here.
With other gardeners down at the community gardens, which I'm really looking forward to. So there you have my review of a few options for wireless mics to use with an iPhone. I've already posted the first video in my diary series about starting a garden bed, so I'm off to a great start. Thanks for listening.
Well, I've got a little confession to make about Troy's review. He actually sent me this review back in June, and I missed it. So when Troy heard me talking about needing reviews, he said, well, did the one I sent you, was that not any good? And I felt terrible because, of course, I loved it. Anyway, I asked him how that project came along because it has been several months. And he did start on YouTube, but he ended up moving the videos to a private Facebook group dedicated to the project. So I was able to capture an audio clip from one of his videos that shows how, with just a little bit of processing, mostly noise reduction and increased gain, made the HughesMod sound perfect for this task. Let's listen to how excited he is about his beans in this particular clip. Okay, now I hope I still have that file. Where is that file?
Are these magic beans?
Yeah, here it is. I just love this little bit I clipped out. Beans in this particular clip.
I think these are the pea plants. This is where I'm going to have to get some help because I am realizing that I don't know the difference between what is a weed and what is the actual plant. I can tell these some grass that I have to remove, I'm sure, but I think I also have some beans coming in, and especially this one over here is looking pretty good. Look at those beans. That's going to be a strong plant, it looks like, for sure.
Nice.
I just like how he did that. All right, let me
Pretty
do a
good.
little bit more here.
Ours looking pretty good. Look at those beans. That's going to be a strong plant, it looks like, for sure.
Okay, I hope you appreciated that. I wanted to do that because the original recording that he did on the Hughes mod didn't sound great, but when you listen to it when he's actually outside at a garden, you can hear he's walking and everything. I think it sounded really good, and it was perfect for the task that he had. Thanks again for sending that, Troy. And next time, if I don't respond right away, ping me again and say, hey, did you see this? Because I would never intentionally ignore that. If I didn't like it, I'd tell you at least. I feel terrible. Okay, now I think we get Mike Price next. Our hero. Oh, Mike Price. Yes, I should do a. And then we've got Jill. Let's see here. Boom. Save and chapter mark. Okay. So now, Mike, did you introduce yourself? Let me see. Okay, he introduces himself as Grumpy. We're going with Grumpy. I feel terrible.
Greetings, castaways. Grumpy here.
A little bit more space. Just a smidge more. East. I feel terrible.
Greetings, castaways. Grumpy here with a tiny tip that I call Hocus Focus. Let's begin with my original problem to be solved and some background. When I show up to church each week, I never want to end up being that person whose phone or watch starts making a ruckus in the middle of Mass. So for many years, I have used Do Not Disturb to keep my devices shushed, and I have loved the fact that when I set Do Not Disturb on my watch, it updates my phone as well. But I never liked needing to remember to manually activate Do Not Disturb. When Apple introduced the Shortcuts app and personal automations on iOS, I thought I had my solution. But Apple has prevented location-based automations from running without intervention. Now I understand the potential risk of automatically executing an automation solely based on location, but advanced users should be able to accept this risk for themselves. And the real kicker is that iOS does provide an override switch for exactly this kind of operation using other triggers like NFC. For the last several major and minor versions of iOS, I have been hoping that this restriction would be eliminated. But alas, even up through iOS version 15.1, my location-based automation that sets Do Not Disturb only gives me a pop-up when I pull into the parking lot. Why not let me decide, Apple? However, all is not lost. One of the new features of iOS 15 is focuses, and a focus can be automatically controlled based on location only. So my teeny tiny tip is that you can modify the built-in Do Not Disturb focus to automatically turn on or off based on a particular location. So now my Do Not Disturb will automatically enable when I arrive at church without any help from me. Finally. Now you may be thinking, that's nice, Grumpy, but I want to have my device automatically do something other than activate Do Not Disturb when I arrive at a location. Well, I have a little hack for that too. Since, as we have already covered, a focus can be controlled based on location without manual intervention, and since a focus changing state can be set as a trigger for personal automation, we can combine these to allow one to do pretty much anything based on location only without manual intervention. One downside of this trick is that a focus does not provide an allow all for notifications from people and apps. So my suggestion would be to just set the focus to have the default settings, since they won't matter in the end, as you'll see in a bit. to run a general purpose automation and shortcut automatically based on location, first, create a custom focus and set that focus to automatically turn on based on the desired location. I should also note that since the focus is just a hack to get the personal automation to run without intervention, set it so that it is not shared across all of your devices. Then, in the Shortcuts app, create a personal automation with a trigger set to when the focus gets turned on. And the automation actions should be to first turn the focus off. Then execute your desired actions, including complex shortcuts. So there you go. Personal automations and shortcuts can now run automatically without intervention based solely on location. Thank you, Apple, though I'm not exactly sure this is what you intended.
Isn't that great? All right, I'm going to add a bunch here, though, so hang on a second.
Well done, Mike.
Thank you, Apple, though I'm not exactly sure this is what you intended.
Well, thanks for that, Mike. To the audience, after I heard this and I read his blog post, I explained to him that I'm not a shortcuts aficionado yet, and I haven't gotten the hang of the different focus mode options very well, so I really needed a bit more hand-holding in order to actually follow his instructions. So, using the documentation app Folge, he took some screenshots, annotated them, and added some written instructions, and he created step-by-step instructions for us if you want to try out his idea. So before, actually, no, why did I do that? Now I'm going to say something else that I did here. After learning how to do it with his good instructions, I tried to use it to solve a kind of funny problem Steve and I have. Our dog Tesla loves staying with Nolan and Lindsay and their dog Dodger, and so when we go to leave, she hides under the dining room table, and we've actually almost forgotten to take her home more than once when we leave. So even with Mike's help, unfortunately, this hack didn't work for me because I needed it to be on leaving a place, not arriving. So every time I came back to their house, it would ask me, "Did you remember Tesla?" Anyway, Mike gave me a much better idea. He said, just put an AirTag on Tesla, and then the Find My Devices app would tell me, they would give me a notification that would say, "Hey, you left Tesla behind again." I think I'll give that a try because I do have one spare.
That's a perfect solution.
Yeah,
Tesla,
I've got one down in the bottom drawer.
I got an AirTag for you.
All right, now we have another fun one. I think Jill always introduces herself, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think she does.
Okay. Doing a chapter mark. I'm up to 4.
Oh, didn't see it. Hold on. Yeah, I guess you got one in there.
I can't help it if you don't pay attention.
Yeah, I think it's there.
Is it logos or logo? Is it?
Silent S, is that your question?
No, I keep forgetting whether the app is logos or... It is with the logos, an S. Okay, so I think that I fixed that. I hope I fixed it. I thought it was logos. Yeah, it is. Okay, it's just I think I fixed it after I got it going. I hope that's right. Will you check the blog post, Steve? Make sure it has an S. So this should be logos. And logos.
Well, you've got a link to it, where you name it, so that link is the title of the...
Right, but I think I may have fixed it after I grabbed the link. Can you follow the link and make sure the blog post says logos?
Yeah, I'm in the blog post and it says logos.
Okay, good.
I'm saying in the blog post it's a hot link, but it says logos in the hot link.
Okay, but I mean the title of the article.
Oh, the title of the article does not.
Seriously?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I will. Actually, can you edit that? Or I could do it right now.
Yeah, I can edit it easily.
Okay, good. Thank you. All this time. I had trouble with that. I started to go through and correct it in the blog post, and then I never fixed that. All right, let's listen to Jill here. You have one spare.
Hello, everyone. This is Jill from the North Woods. You might not know.
I think I'll give that a try because I do have one spare.
Hello, everyone. This is Jill from the North Woods. You might not know this, but I really enjoy studying the Bible, and I do it quite a bit. And yes, there are software tools out there to help me get through this process. First of all, there are iOS apps that you can use on the iPhone and the iPad. One is called Olive Tree, and the other one's called YouVersion. Both are very popular when it comes to this kind of task. But the thing that I use the most, something that's called Logos Bible Software. And it's a great tool when you're trying to study almost anything when it comes to the Bible. It was founded back in 1992 from 2 Microsoft employees. By 2009, on their version 4 software, which is where I started with this particular product, there's new versions coming out all the time. They're always improving things, even if it's performance, bugs, and new features. And I've been impressed with how much work goes into this software. There are versions for Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android, or you can just use it on the web. But let's first talk about the cost. You can go all the way up to $11,000, and what you get is 9,100 books built into this logo system, which is probably great if you are a scholar or an academic of some kind, but for most people, that is prohibitive. There is also a free version, and it comes with basic features, some maps, some indexing systems, and ways that you can learn about the Bible. It'll help you customize a reading plan, allow you to take notes, and do highlights of certain sections that you want. There is also a $100 version, which with most sales costs around $50. And from there, you get 25 reference books. They might be commentaries and different indexes and common tools that people like to use. Where I settled in on this product is the $294 version, while it was on sale for much less. With this particular version, you can get a payment plan so you can afford it better. It comes with about 70 books, and I have a few add-on packages as well. I'm Lutheran, and there's a Lutheran package out there. There's also packages out there for Catholics, Jewish people, and all sorts of denominations and points of view when it comes to the Bible. I have to admit that I think that it gets overly pricey, particularly if you're going to upgrade this software frequently. I understand that software costs money to make. I work for a software company. I feel this is a little bit on the expensive side, and every time there's a new version, am I excited about it? Yeah, mostly, but most of the time I'm just grimacing at the thought of the next price level. And when you get all these books built into your package system, what it does is it will index everything that you own so that when you click on a particular topic or click on a particular name, it'll take every tool and resource that you own and link them all together. That indexing can actually take hours to get done. I've had it take about 90 minutes on my own computer. One of the things I was delighted about is when I put it on my brand new 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro chip. And you know what? It was so fast at indexing that volume that I thought it was broken. I was so impressed with how fast that was. It suddenly made me love my MacBook Pro even more. So the first thing you do when you're looking at this logo software is you can design your home screen. There's all sorts of things that can go onto the home screen. Things like upcoming books, interesting topics, today in history. You can have your Bible passage of the day. If you created a reading plan, it will have your reading plan right there for you so you can immediately pick it up. And it has sales, upcoming books, and other types of topics that you may be interested in. It has a light mode, a dark mode, and you can select colors on almost every aspect of the software. The other nice feature that it has is you can, of course, take notes. But this is the thing that's really exciting about it. There are a good number of people who love writing notes. Maybe they write it in the margins of their Bible. Maybe they have a notebook that they just love writing in. This software will allow you to take a screenshot of your handwritten notes and insert it into that passage area. So that way it accommodates people like me who just want to live in the digital world, but most other people who actually like writing things down with a real pen and real paper. What a neat feature.
All right, I'm going to cut us off there. So I think I'm going to put a little bit at the end Just to remind people that Jill did say there was a free option. All right, here we go.
You can reach me at smallstepspod.com or email me at jill@smallstepspod.com or find me on Allison's Slack channel where I like to hang out.
Well, thanks for that, Jill. I do want to make sure everybody remembers something she said very close to the beginning. There is a free option for the logo software, and she says it does do a lot. She just went in expanding into all the greater capabilities you can get as you pay more money. I really appreciate you doing this, Jill, and I love how participative you are in the Slack, and everybody should go over there and hang out with her at podfeet.com/Slack. But you should also subscribe to her podcast, and it's, as she said, it's called Small Steps Small Steps Podcast? Start with small steps. Dang it. Give me the name of it one more time, Jill. And it's, as she, but you should start with small steps. Thank you. And you should definitely subscribe to her podcast, Start with Small Steps. It's a really, really terrific show, and I love listening to it. And I mean, who can't smile when they're listening to that joyful voice? All right, now I'm going to not do a chapter mark, but I did save. I'm going to do the spam. You know, I've really been enjoying calling out the longtime supporters of the Nosilla Castaways. No, of the Nosilla Cast, not of the Nosilla Castaways.
Well, they may also support the team.
Yeah, but doesn't make any sense. The Nosilla Cast. You know, it's interesting when I do some of the reading on Daily Tech News Show. Often they've got typos in what they've written. They don't have Sandy fixing their typos. And I will just read whatever it says, no matter how wrong it is. And they manage to just read right over it and say it correctly. It's garbage in, garbage out for me. All right, here we go. You know, I've really been enjoying calling out the longtime supporters of the NosillaCast on Patreon. I started it because they deserve the recognition. But you know what? I'm staying fired up about it because many of them have written to me with fun little catch-up notes on what's going on with them just because I've called them out. A few weeks ago, I mentioned a very early contributor named Desmond. Every year or so, Desmond checks in and gives me a really fun update on the culture in Singapore. One of the many joys of doing the podcast has been learning about different cultures from all of you. When Desmond heard his name mentioned, he realized his annual update was long overdue, and so he sent me a nice chatty note. But that's not all he did. He also upped his contribution in Patreon by a lot. I am so grateful for his 5 years of support and for increasing his support to help pay the bills for the podcast. Now, I don't want to lose steam, so let me give a shout out to another set of 4-year contributors. We've got Thomas Maddock, Tom Wickland, Robert Pither, Tim Gregoire, and Linda Goucher. Thank you, all you folks, for keeping the lights on all these years. All right. And
Do you mind if I capitalize Tom?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Tom would appreciate a capital T on his name. Unfortunately, I don't know all 5 of those people. If I knew Tom Wickland, or if I knew Robert Pither, I could have said something nice about all of them. But Tom Maddock has done reviews. He's the blind guy in the wheelchair that has talked about dragging himself around on the floor and stuff, and how he lives his life. Tom Wickland I've met in real life at Macstock. Tim Gregoire we've known since he was like 14, I think. And Linda Goucher obviously is a huge part of the show. So anyway, all right, I think it's time for some Security Bits music.
I think it is.
Ooh, and probably a chapter marker.
Definitely.
Definitely. I don't think that's going to work. Get it? Oh, I did. Wow, that wait time was good. All right, and let me find, gonna have to do some editing. So, Alan, did I answer your question about how hard or what the process is on the show? Someday I should do an explanation of what has to happen for the doing programming by stealth, because it's really complicated. So many moving pieces. And getting them in the right order, because I've got the show notes at podfeed.com, which have a link to the audio file. I've got the show notes at on pbs.bartificer.net, which have a link to the audio file. And I've got the podcast episode, which comes from Feeder, which is what causes the audio file to exist at the correct location. So I have to push the podcast first. But if I took like a day to get the show notes out on bartificer.net, then you would have Programming by Stealth without show notes. And I think Programming by Stealth without show notes would be really hard. That's a show that needs the show notes. So I'm always afraid if anything goes wrong in the second, in doing the feed, in doing the show notes, then it would be tough. So that's part of what makes it hard. It's very complicated. All right, listen to this.
Blink.
There you go.
I know everybody loves a good plank. Okay. Okay, I'm going to keep that one. Keep that one. Get rid of that one. And take this one and move it up here and try to guess where it would sound correct. Let's see. Use my new trick. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots. How you doing today, Bart?
I am doing grand, actually. I got to cycle with no wind for the first time.
Okay, let's see if I can get both of these where it sounds good with that. Let's see how that sounds. Didn't mean to do that. There we go. The lights on all these years. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots. How you doing today, Bart?
I am doing grand, actually. I got to cycle with no wind for the first time in weeks, feels like. It's so strange. Because I always cycle into the wind, and which means I've been really confined in where I have to cycle, and I looked at my weather app and there was like no wind. It's like, I can go anywhere. Oh no, I can go anywhere.
Have to figure it out, right?
Yes.
All right.
It was a fun cycle, so that was
good. All right, let's kick in then.
Yeah, so we'll start with some fun.
Wow, we have no lag.
No, that is
really unusual.
impressive.
You know, it's usually I have to put a space on either side or try to split it between the two. I've heard of Pluto TV before, Kevin, and I'm actually going to go looking here for every time Steve opened the garage door, which I think was 27 times while I was recording today.
Uh-oh. Can you actually hear it on the recording?
Yes.
A way of saying.
There it is right there.
Okay,
Let me mute Bart for a second. Listen.
Maybe a little rumble. I certainly see it.
Yes. So it happened a lot of times. So I reached for my mute button as fast as I could. So let's see. There should be another one. Let's see. I bet this is the second one. Yeah, there should be 4, but I got to find both of them. Here we go.
It's just a low rumble.
Yeah. And I think the other time I was actually talking. So 40 minutes. How long? You weren't gone that long.
No, it was an efficient run.
Download on the Apple TV, huh? Is Pluto TV, do you have to pay for it? Now we know what the waveform looks like. I think I was actually talking when you started doing. Oh, that might be it. Let me see.
Or is this?
No, that's me talking. Channel, and it's free. And you can get a Yule log, Steve.
Ooh.
We need to add Pluto TV. That one.
Yeah, I'm not sure they meant it in that way, but I guess it's not surprising someone named something Fast Flux, because it's a bloody good name.
Yeah. There's a bunch. That might have been it. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure they meant it in that way, but I guess it's not surprising someone.
Okay, so I started laughing there. Take that piece out. It's hosts acting as proxies.
Yeah, I'm not sure they meant it in that way, but I guess it's not surprising someone named something Fast Flux, because it's a
Oh, I think I can just take that out.
bloody good name.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
Anyway, so It's a garbage email. It means nothing. And what was really weird was that it didn't contain a call to action.
Oh, like you must patch this blah 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 or contact this company. Or...
Yeah, normally if someone was being if a malicious person had access to the actual.
Yeah, this is the FBI thing, and it's really interesting. It was not a bad thing. It was a good thing. It was a white-ish hacker alerting the FBI that they had a vulnerability that they had not
white
fixed.
Hat.
What did you correct?
You said whitish hacker, white hat hacker.
No, I'm not saying a white hat hacker. I'm saying a white-ish, because it's not necessarily a white hat hacker.
Whitish,
we don't know that they're a white
hat.
You know what I love? When Steve corrects me when I'm not wrong. I love it. It's one of my favorite things that he does. So anyway, the person has, at the end we decided they might be a black hat hacker, but they have a white brim on their hat was where we went with at the end. So yeah, hacking to get the message across. Yeah, ish. That's right, Mike. See, Mike understands because he knows the story before correcting me.
Mm-hmm. I was just
there
commenting on the absence of the word hat.
Okay, here.
There it is.
Yep. What's weird is I'm getting a little bit of bleed through on Bart too, but that's nobody ever notices that. Okay, so that would be second last time. Oh, is that the next one? Okay.
Those kind of things you can.
Yep. God, I'm good. I can see it. Okay.
Well, this is like number 6. There should have only been 4.
What was Bart saying? Yeah, I think one of the ones I took out wasn't actually. This is the 5th one, so I think one of them wasn't. It was something else making noise.
Wi-Fi networks without a username and password.
Okay.
Those kind of things you can also.
Okay, I think I can just cut all of that out. There we go. Okay, that should be good. Let's go to the end. Come on. Why does this work sometimes? Not all the times. You're supposed to be able to hold, maybe it's control option. No, you're supposed to hold control, command, right arrow, and you're supposed to pop to the end of the waveform, but it doesn't always work. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. We'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Indeed. And until then, remember, folks, stay patched so you stay secure.
Ooh, what did he save at the end?
That timer right.
Yeah, we went on a lot longer than it felt like. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, nothing's muted. Well, that is going to wind us up for this week. Did you know that you can email me at allison@podfeed.com anytime you like? If you have a question, you got a suggestion, just send it on over. You got a review, send it on over. Now, I've left Facebook, at least for now, and starting to feel kind of permanent. I think it's been about a month since I've been there. So if you want to follow my silliness online, the best place to go is to follow me on Twitter @podfeed. Better yet, though, if you want to have some real geeky fun, join our Slack community like Jill did, and join me and Jill and everybody else over at podfeed.com/Slack. And like I said, the other lovely NosillaCastaways, including Bart, are in there. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You can support the show at podfeed.com/Patreon and even increase your pledge if you like to, like Desmond did, or you can make a one-time donation at podfeed.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
Boom.
You know, Kevin says, Alton has an email address. If only I had known this sooner. You know, I had a buddy of mine, a guy I worked with who listened to the show. He had listened for like 4 years when he came in my office one day and he said, "Hey, what's your email address? I want to send you something." Really? Really? You listen to the show?
Maybe they don't listen to the end.
I guess so. I said, it's in every blog post. It's on, you know, it's impossible to miss. Let's see here. For listening and stay subscribed. It's a little intense. Shall we do a chapter mark?
Chapter
Count?
mark count.
We said I should have 5, right? I have 5.
Let me go back here. Hold on.
There are
1,
5
2,
stars.
3, 4, 5. Yep.
It's kind of an interesting trick to have it figured out ahead of time, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see how fast it exports. Jill, have you exported, you've been using your new M1 Pro to record the podcast in Hindenburg and watched how fast it exports? That was an hour and 41 minutes, and it's done in 13 seconds, transcoded from the native format, a bunch of WAV files, to M4A. That is fast. Very cool. All right, well, I'm going to let class out early today because we're done.
Yeah. Full show. How
I'm
long was the
literally
show?
done. It is an hour and 41 minutes.
Wow, that was a long security bits.
Yeah. So I probably could have cut, I could have put just none and had it been an hour-long show, but that wouldn't be fun. People like both. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to go. So you want to sign us off, Steve?
Yes.
Goodbye,
Good night,
Rose.
Gracie.